Okay. I would like to call the September 11th Sustainability Commission to order. Start with roll call. Christy.
Here.
And you said Brooke, we don't know when Brooke's coming.
She said she'll be about 5 to 10 minutes late, so
Okay.
she'll be here shortly.
Okay. Tim.
Here.
Brian. Swan.
Here.
Steve.
You're on mute.
Steve, you're on mute.
In the dark.
No, now he's on mute. Unmuted.
Can't hear you anymore.
Might have to turn your volume up.
It might also be on the wrong mic or just not have the mic selected.
I said this at the
Happened
beginning.
correctly.
It was working.
Well, Zoom is weird sometimes.
Oh, there we go. Hang on.
There we go. Okay, Steve.
All right, now you can hear me. Okay.
Myself, I am here. Okay, we will start off with our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge that we are in the indigenous land of Coast Salish peoples who have reserved treaty rights to this land, specifically the Snoqualmie tribe. We thank these caretakers of this land who have lived and continue to live here since time immemorial. Okay, let's go back to the July meeting minutes. Would someone like to present a motion to approve the July meeting minutes?
Motion to approve.
Okay, can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the July meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
We have
Aye.
unanimous consensus.
We are Steve.
We got you, Steve. Hey, Brooke,
Hi. Glad you made
you
it.
approved last month, July meeting minutes?
Yes, I approve.
Okay. All right, I understand. So we have 3 people for public comment tonight, Rose?
Great. Thank you all for coming.
Who would like to start?
We'll just go down the list.
All right, Jan.
Hey, just a quick announcement about an event you folks might be interested in. This Sunday at Bellevue Botanical Garden between 9:30 and 3, there's going to be an event called Become a Pollinator Protector. And it's sponsored by the Master Gardeners Association of King County. And they're going to have 3 talks. One of them is on climate-ready plants. One on our pollinators, our unsung heroes, and from far and near native plants for Northwest Gardens. And there's a small fee for those. There's also going to be different information booths. Our Washington Native Plant Society will have a booth there. And we also will be selling a few native plants. And I think Oxbow Farm might be there as well, I had heard. So that's an event this weekend at the Bellevue Botanical Garden.
Do we have to sign up or can we just go?
If you want to see these talks, there's a little place to register online. So just look at the Master Gardener Foundation of King County, Google that, and you can do that. Okay. Otherwise, just to go and buy plants or go to the information booths. Yeah, no fee for that. Okay.
Anything else, Chad? Thank you. Okay. All right, Paul, welcome.
Guys, Paul Stickney, Sammamish have a little handout to hand down. And while you're handing that down, the seniors in Sammamish, which we call ourselves 50 and over, are having a resource fair at the Presbyterian Church on October 11th with about 35 vendors and entertainment. Jeff Renner's coming to talk about meteorology and different things. And so it's going to be between 10 and 2 on October 11th. And it's free, snacks, and fun. Anyway, today, I'm sure all of you have seen on social media all that's going on about town center and growth in between 2,000 and 4,000, et cetera. Just the whole pretty overpowering presentations across the board. On Tuesday, I talked to City Council and I handed this handout out to them, and I'm only going to read the first 3 things. Housing growth is the main issue in Sammamish. It has been since incorporation. The growth issue is not about whether town center should be 2,000 or 4,000. The growth issue is about citywide housing being out of balance, what I call CHI, citywide housing imbalance. And our community has never figured out how the housing supplies that were 85% built by King County meet our internal needs over time for cycle of life and future generations. This is a true sustainability issue, but it has a whole lot more. At the bottom of this page, there is a big blank because I'm sending in a new version next week to City Council, Planning Commission, and to you guys. If you look at the next page, if you flip over, I gave this comment to council in January, which is quite similar. And it has links to 25 to 30 meetings with documents that support this ask. I'll be putting about 20 of those meetings on this front page, all with links. I don't expect you all to click on any, but if you have any interest in seeing all the background as to why it would be smart to consider optimal housing based on authentic bottom-up need, not based on regional need, and what's been missing forever in our city. On page 3, there are 3 ways to tip on growth. The first council minimized growth compared to King County. They cut single-family housing pace way back. And they did not optimize the amount of different and diverse market rate housing our community needs. Then we had a council for 4 to 5 years who wanted to cut those numbers way further. And what I've been advocating for is what I call enrich and sustain and stay, which is to get the data in the middle that level sets all the different parties and their approach to growth. And on the backside, there are over 40 sets of consequences that have radically disparate outcomes depending on which of those 3 ways we go. I'm advocating that is the issue, needs to be done. And when that's done, then inform a decision on right sizing town center. That's my comment. Appreciate the chance to speak.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, Mary, welcome.
Hi, my name's Mary Wichter. I've lived in the city for 25 years, and I agree with Paul on housing. It's not the number, but the types. If you build one single family home, it has 4 times the traffic and school impacts that a smaller, different, diverse housing might have. So it's really important not to talk about the numbers, but the type of housing we need, and we really need to have that change now. So anything you can do to support that would be awesome. I also know Jan Bird, volunteer of the year. She talked me into becoming a Washington native plant steward, which is a mere, how many is it? 100 hours in class over Fridays, which I was able to do too, and then 150 hours volunteering. So East Sammamish Park over by Mead, that was one of the sites I worked on, and it's really lovely. And the first thing we did is the blackberry bushes were like this in the city, and we grubbed them out and we learned how to plant things. And then I don't think the bomb cyclone helped. But what I've noticed, so I grew up on a farm. I'm a farm girl. Only 4% of America grows up on farms. And the property that we own, it goes back to 1864. And the people next door put theirs in conservation, but they never, ever do their noxious weeds. So those noxious weeds don't go, oh, there's a fence line, I won't go that way. And we have a problem with tansy ragwort. It's a noxious weed class C. It's supposed to be controlled per King County requirements. And control means that you don't allow the seeds just, to make the seeds. I first learned about it down where the Inglewood parking lot is going to the trail. There was a sheet of paper with the plastic that said tansy ragwort really bad. If you see this, report it. So there's quite a bit, especially in the Inglewood subdivision here, or the Inglewood subbasin. I've seen it in the wetlands and at Zacus, or not Zacus Creek, at Ebright Creek. It's on both sides when it goes to seed there. Then it gets in the wetland, and then that goes all the way down where the fish are. I have seen it by Lewis Thompson. They did remove those plants because they're building there, but there's one left. So I'm going to try to get that as a sample and take it to somebody who cares. There's a whole bunch on Town Center. Whenever you have a vacant lot, the seeds from tansy ragwort can stay in the ground for like 15 years. And so like when it's dry and hot and nothing else grows, that's what you'll see come up. I don't know why the city can't require like builders, like if they have a noxious weed that they do it. And if the city can't do it, they could have 1 or 2 or 3 local landscape companies that would get paid on contract to go do those. Because when you have that one plant and it goes, it creates a whole patch, and then that patch blows and you can kind of see the paths that I drive around over to Inglewood, where the roundabout is. So I reported those. The city did do some of them. And then the second time I reported some that they didn't do, like the ones in Ebright Creek wetland area. And they just said, it's too time consuming. That's because they're doing the whole ditch. They don't need to do the whole ditch. Tansy ragwort blooms late June, July, or August. It's really bright yellow, super easy to see. There's other yellow ones. And then the leaf is a special type of leaf. And once you see it, you won't forget it. And I don't know what the roots look like. I'm going to try to dig up the one by Lewis Thompson and see. But if there's anything you guys could do to help noxious weed, like when you reported on C-Click Fix, there's no noxious weed category. So you have to try to figure out how to put your stuff in. But if people don't even know what a noxious weed is, like what a noxious fume is, right? You don't like those? We don't like noxious weeds either. So anyway, I went over my 3 minutes, but I can send photos and stuff to help. And I've already put in C-Click Fixes, but it's super frustrating to see those go on. And you can't just mow them.
Yeah. Yes. If you would like to, that's.
Mary, I have a question for you. So just so I understand, are conservation easements exempt from noxious weed controls and other types of?
No, it's just whenever you put in a conservation easement, we used to call it poverty ranch next door. They don't have any money.
Ah,
They had the money, they were an older family, the Dodges, they were great.
okay,
They dodged out.
still required, but okay.
Like, this is in Montana that I'm giving the example of. It's called leafy spurge there. The only way to get it is you put toad on in an airplane and you drop it, and you better make sure they go the right way. We don't like doing that, but like literally it just takes over. And tansy ragwort probably isn't so prolific, but just in the couple years I've seen it, like the years I see it and the city does it, it's fine. But when they don't do it, it really spreads. And we've had 2 deaths in the family in the last 2 years. So I haven't been around nagging anybody. Shouldn't be me nagging. What I would love is if they would, like the sample weed, if they take it to the people at the maintenance op, when they're driving around, if they see one, they can literally pull over. You don't want to touch it because it's bad for your liver and it's toxic, the leaves and the top. But if they learn that, then when they see it, they just do it all the time. And then you don't have to have these huge patches that grow, and it takes a lot of time. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, noxious weeds, if you live with them and you don't get rid of them, you'll live with them all the time. Never be like-
Okay, we bring up the agenda?
Absolutely. Screen here. I am texting.
I don't mean to, instead of eat and run, chat and run, but I'm going across to the Inglewood meeting.
Thanks for
This
stopping
fall,
by,
yeah.
Paul.
And so we'll have 2 housing ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, thanks.
All right. Great, there it is. All right, so just 2 things on the agenda for today. We got our report from our Solarize partners. So our nonprofit partner that was working with the Eastside Climate Partnership cities. And then we're also going to talk about an upcoming campaign that we would love commission input on, and those kind of feed into each other. And then afterwards, we're going to have some good discussion about some of the summer events that we really, I think this was a hugely successful event season between the farmers markets and some work that individual commissioners have been doing. So just kind of queuing some of that up. I know some of you we had kind of primed to share. So yeah, let's get started. Oh, where am I? That map is not. Sorry, folks, I'm running the Zoom meeting and presenting tonight. There we go. All right. So you may recall we had spoken kind of high level about this Solarize program earlier in the year. We wrapped up enrollment as of July 4th, and then had a little bit of time for folks to really get enrolled and get started with contractors. So this is just kind of a snapshot into how that program went this year. This was Sammamish's first time doing any kind of program like this, and aligns really well with our climate action plan, some of our clean energy goals.
Can you remind us of the actual time period this is reporting on?
Yes. There we go. Excuse me. So, the East Side Climate Partnership cities of Sammamish, Bellevue, Redmond, Mercer Island, Kirkland, and Mercer Island all participate in this. So this was an East Side wide program. We partnered with Olympia Community Solar, which is a local nonprofit that works with local installers on solar education, answering questions, community outreach, special pricing and promos, and then programs just like this Solarize program that we did. So it launched on March 6th and ran through July 4th. And across the east side, there were 11 workshops. So we had 2 in Sammamish and then kind of smattering across the other cities as well. As a reminder, Olympia Community Solar did a lot of the heavy lifting for us, which was really wonderful. So they picked some really trusted installers that were local, had been in the business for a long time, and could handle the volume of this program, as well as offer some special discounted pricing for the duration of this program. They also provided us with educational materials. They ran the workshops with the support of city staff. And then they also took folks from that initial enrollment, kind of giving your email and information all the way through connecting with an installer, getting that special pricing, and then eventually installing the equipment in question. Apologies for the delay on slides here. But the East Side cities were not alone. So Solarize actually ran through Olympia Community Solar across the greater Seattle area. So Thurston County was also a participant in Solarize, Skagit County, Island County, which is the San Juans, and then City of Kenmore and Whatcom County. So this really just shows you how broad the reach of this program was, the interest in solar in our area, and some of the outcomes of this program. So you'll see here the number of leads and then actual signed contracts. And we received this presentation from Solarize during August. So I want to just make a quick note that this is the initial information, but we're going to have some more concrete numbers as of January because folks are still currently contracting and installing equipment through the end of this year. Very happy to share that a lot of the installers and contractors that we were working with through this program are completely booked out through the year and actually cannot take additional installs because there's so much demand. And part of that is due to the expiring tax credits, and part of that is also due to the success of this program. So we're really excited. There were 44 contracts across the east side as of this report. And yeah.
Go ahead. I had a question about the contract. So is there a template for installation? So are all houses, do they have the same number of panels, same size, or is there variance in energy consumption and usage?
Huge variance. So it depends on the amount of sun that your roof receives. It depends on the angle and orientation, so the direction that your roof is facing, as well as, you know, how steep of a roof you may have. And then it also depends on your energy consumption as a household. So one of the first things that happens when you enroll in a program like this is you send the potential contractor and installer your energy bill. So they understand how to right size those solar panels for your home. It's always great, you know, they'll offer if you're able to only install, you know, maybe 4 panels and that'll cover your energy consumption. They'll always offer you the opportunity to install additional panels, but there's obviously an added cost that comes with that. So net metering is where you're able to basically sell your excess energy back to the grid. And so for some people, they decide to install extra panels so that they can take advantage of net metering. And for some folks, they really just want kind of exactly the right fit for their home. There's also some folks whose solar production from their roof might not fully meet the needs of their home. And I can't recall exactly off the top of my head, but I remember during their presentations, they had mentioned they will not recommend solar if you get less than like 75% of the payback, essentially. So yeah, they work directly with you to get you the right size for your home. Yeah. And I'm happy to share, in Sammamish specifically, we had 72 leads. And as of this, we had 6 installations with some additional contracts upcoming. So doesn't sound like a ton from the get-go, but we expect those numbers to continue to increase as the year goes on. And then also we're looking at this honestly programmatically across the east side, knowing that all of these cities had contracted together. Some fun information from our nonprofit partner, and I felt this was important for the commission because we're very focused on outreach. So this really shows you how folks heard about the program and where they're getting their information in the city so that we can then continue to target our outreach accordingly. Obviously, the newsletter is a huge source of information for our residents. That's part of the reason we mail out the Sustainable Sammamish Guide, recognizing it's not the most sustainable thing in the world to be mailing out 12-page papers, but if you're getting the kind of engagement in programs like this and the kind of behavior change that we're looking for, that really is the best way to reach everyone in the city as a big blanket outreach.
You kind of have to look at it in your mailbox versus ignoring an email. Right?
Exactly. But then it also shows how impactful those in-person events and workshops are. And then, you know, a good smattering, you've got about a third of all the outreach split between everything else.
What's the yellow one?
Online, so that's just doing an internet search for
No,
solar.
the top yellow one. Is that, what is NA is not unknown?
NA is, it didn't fit in one of the categories.
Okay.
So this was a survey that was mailed out to anyone who, you know, clicked or engaged with the
Okay.
program or contacted an installer. Recognizing not everyone that was involved in the program ended up filling out this survey, but the folks that did, this was some really good kind of snapshot of the representation of the program. So for those folks, you know, I can't really tell you. I feel like this is a pretty comprehensive list. So I'm not sure what those NA categories would be, but
Well, so just be people who weren't sure.
yeah, maybe they couldn't remember where they heard of it or didn't feel like one of these really captured.
One thing I noticed that's interesting is the red, is that Facebook? It's the Facebook, I mean, sorry, from Facebook, Farmers Market. I was thinking, okay, Sammamish Farmers Market, this red one.
So the Sammamish
Or the
one is
orange.
actually that
Oh,
orange
it's the
one.
orange one. But an in-person event, that also could be farmer's market-ish.
So I'm assuming that
Right.
some people probably
Yeah.
did put that as, you know, they maybe didn't actually
Yeah.
read all the drop downs, but then that's
Yes.
so stuff like Earth Day or the
Yes.
Spring into Adventure events. So some of those one-off events, Rigapalooza, which is where we bring all of the trucks and fire trucks and street sweepers out on the plateau, and we got a fair amount of engagement from that event.
Yeah, and why I'm bringing that up, the in-person event, is when we presented the HOA, which I know we're gonna talk about later, one of the comments was, well, how do we hear about these things after the farmers markets are done? And I think that's pretty important, I think, I don't know, to increase the in-person events. I mean, it's, you know, that's the second largest way they're hearing about it. That's pretty good.
I mean,
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
I mentioned today, like I got a few texts about, you know, our pictures in here. I didn't even know my neighbors knew about the Sustainability Commission newsletter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see, like, to think of this, right? There are other ways for outreach. How are they seeing things?
Yeah, and you can see there's also a category for sustainability ambassadors, so that youth group. And most cities had a pretty similar breakdown to Sammamish, varying by city, because some cities, you know, do a little bit more online presence or do some more business outreach with business centers. But it was really cool to kind of see most cities were generally similar in terms of their breakdown of outreach.
This
So
is helpful. You remember
Yeah.
last year we were struggling, like what's the best way to get the message out to the
Yeah.
community? And this is informative.
yeah. Something to look back on and think about.
This is out of 72 people in Sammamish, is that what you said?
We had 72
This is leads, right?
leads in Sammamish. So yeah, I wouldn't say all 72 maybe responded to the survey, but I think we maybe had 50 responses. It was a pretty good turnover rate.
It's a lot of responsive.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is kind of just a different view of that same pie chart. So just looking at the top 5, what was the most impactful? It also has on the right side there, part of the survey was, hey, if you didn't follow through, maybe you attended a workshop, maybe you initially signed up, but we lost contact with you or you opted out. Some of the reasons there. So at a certain point, some folks just stopped opening their emails, stopped responding, didn't ever say, hey, I'm no longer interested. We got a little bit ghosted.
So that's the homeowner being unresponsive, not the.
I wanted to clarify that as well.
Yes, that's the homeowner being unresponsive. The other one is poor roof exposure, which is understandable. I think some of you personally experienced that. I know my roof is too shaded. And then just, they did actively say, hey, I'm not interested anymore, was that declined category. And then financial, obviously there is a pretty substantial cost that comes with solar panels, even with the tax credits and the special pricing through this program. And then some folks ended up actually going with a different installer outside of the program. So maybe they ended up doing some independent research or had a recommendation from a neighbor that used a different installer that was not one of our vetted and trusted installers through the program, but they got their information through Solarize, they learned more, and they ultimately just chose to go with a different contractor, which is completely fine. We're still really excited that those folks chose to go solar.
If they did it, could they get any incentives?
They could not get the special pricing if they didn't
Okay.
use one of the, I think it was 5 installers. And that was because we had a specific contract with those.
So the tax credits.
They could still get the tax credits, yeah, but one of the things that was great about this program is Olympia Community Solar helped folks navigate those tax credits, and then installers were very familiar with it. So I'm sure many installers in the area know and feel comfortable navigating that, but having some of that free assistance, I think, was great and was available to anyone, whether you chose one of our installers or not. The other thing I wanted to just show here was what were folks' motivation for signing up. So the biggest one was reducing my environmental impact. That was, in fact, a huge motivator for folks. And then close behind that was working with a trusted, vetted solar installer. So the city is saying these are folks that this nonprofit that we're partnering with are familiar with. They've been in business for a long time. They have a really good warranty program. They pay prevailing wage. And then close after that was the money. Getting solar before the tax credits go away, securing the long-term savings, getting the best financial deal. So while ultimately reducing their environmental impact was the big one, the money savings came very close behind. And I think this is pretty in line with what we've talked about as a commission, kind of meeting people where they're at and finding their motivation is huge for getting that end result.
Are we gonna get a similar readout from the heat pump thing?
At the end of the year, yeah, so.
Something to compare when we get there.
Yeah, and I think we had given a program update on Energy Smart Eastside earlier this year, the 2024 program report. I can relink that if you all would like to see, but it was in one of our agenda bills earlier this summer, yeah. So Energy Smart Eastside tends to give us even more in-depth information actually from this, which is great. Any questions on this? Thoughts? Pretty straightforward. Yeah, we were really happy with some of this data that we were able to get. And again, these responses were pretty similar across cities. Here were some general feedback that the Olympia Community Solar nonprofit provided to the cities. These were both taken from comments from folks who did install, from installers visiting homes and giving folks quotes, and also folks who sent thank you notes. We got some really sweet thank you notes from this program. So workshops, huge for folks feeling comfortable, being able to ask questions, meet the installers face to face, kind of getting that community buy-in and building trust. As we mentioned, you know, the pride of Solarship, feeling like you're doing your part, getting renewable energy and choosing a greener option to power your home. And then recognizing that different folks have different financial priorities. For some folks, it's getting the best deal now. For some folks, it's getting the better deal over the long term. And then as I had mentioned, whether you're sizing your solar panels to your house or sizing them a little bit bigger to get those longer term savings as well. As I mentioned, a lot of our solar installers are booked, and that's not unique to the Olympia Community Solar trusted contractors. This is across the industry we're seeing. And then the other one is for folks who maybe can't afford it right now, aren't feeling ready, need more information. Maybe they're renters that are planning to buy a home. There was a lot of conversation around, you know, oh, is this my last chance? Is this the only time? And the answer is no. There's just different factors that need to be weighed, and making sure that we're being really upfront with folks and giving them that, you know, positive reinforcement and encouragement that just because you don't go solar this year doesn't mean it's not an option for you.
So a question for Christy and Brooke. Does the Kalani HOA allow solar panels if
They allow.
Oh, okay, great.
We actually have in the guide, thanks Steve. HOAs actually cannot prohibit solar installation. They might just have certain guidelines around it. I don't know if they can, specify which installer you're supposed to use, but I think for a lot of them, it's just kind of an aesthetic concern. So,
Right.
And then just some considerations for the future. This campaign is something that we could be involved in future years. So just some things to kind of think about, allowing participants to self-evaluate their properties. I think a lot of folks came in kind of with the assumption that, oh, my home is not a good fit, or, oh, maybe we're great because we have XYZ, but the roof orientation or angle is not great, or they need to replace their roof before they can get solar panels. So having some sort of tool or system where folks know that before going through all of the effort and attending a 2-hour workshop just to be disappointed. And then pre-qualifying leads. So there were some installers that were really having to go through and vet people. And if we're able to do that before the installer and kind of take out that initial step, we can get more folks moving through the program. We did see, so if you see here in the diagram on the right, almost half of folks who were installing solar panels were also looking into battery storage, which is a pretty common thing. If you're getting solar and you have that excess energy, you can either sell it back to the grid, or in case of power outages, in case of, extenuating circumstances, to charge your car. It's nice to have that battery storage to be able to really truly utilize that excess energy. This program did not include incentives or, a battery storage specific kind of add-on, but that's something that we could look at in future years.
It'd be great to do it also just for the battery and not have to do it with the solar panel, because you can do that as well and at least have it like from our resiliency goals and things like that. And I would love, so I went through this program and failed because of shade. But I have a gas generator and I'm seriously considering putting in a home battery that I would charge up through the grid and then it would be full, but just for that.
Does that last for like 24 hours if you lose power?
Depends on how big you get, but they go like days,
Oh, really?
like 4 or 5 days to power your home. So and it's a lot less noisy
Mhm.
and better for the environment. So yeah, when you think about that, to not have to tie it to a solar panel would be helpful for probably a lot of folks around here.
Yeah, that's good feedback. Thank you. Has anyone else looked into battery storage or solar as a result of this program?
Not because of the program, but after the cyclone, we did get like one of the little portable solar panels with a battery hookup. So
Awesome.
Great. And then the other thing is, we had some good uptake for this initial program, but ultimately word of mouth, talking to neighbors, talking to your HOA, seeing that your neighbor's installing a solar panel and asking them, having some kind of incentive or, gold star, whatever it might be for folks, to encourage participant referrals. So it's not just individuals coming to us, it's individuals and then bringing additional and kind of expanding that network and web to get even more folks involved, or at least aware, and then they can always come back and use these resources in the future. I did think it was nice to note that there were about 26% of folks who also were looking into a heat pump. So that was some good cross promotion with Energy Smart East Side. And sometimes when folks start going down the rabbit hole of research for renewable energy and energy efficiency at home, heat pumps are one of the top things that you'll see. So it was cool that this program also kind of fed into Energy Smart East Side. And then an electrical panel upgrade is one to think about as well, for battery storage, for renewable energy, for electric vehicle charging. Sometimes those older homes don't have the electrical capacity to support systems like this. And so that's something that folks might consider or might do preemptively, knowing that they're planning to electrify further. Any questions on this? Any questions on the program? This is kind of a truncated view. I have data for all the other cities, but I didn't feel that was super relevant for our conversation today. So yeah, you can see about 46% responses there.
It sounds like the way you're presenting it, you feel like it was a success for the city,
I think so.
which I'm not arguing, but it also sounded like we don't know if we're doing it again. Is that up for debate? And what is
Yeah.
that debate around, I guess.
Yeah, I think part of it is around Olympia Community Solar's capacity. So as you can see, they're working with a number of different counties in the region. They have limited staff capacity being a nonprofit, so making sure that we get in early, making sure that we have kind of the demand and service area that makes it worthwhile for them to be partners and for those installers to spend their time going to workshops and fielding calls to actually get the business that they're looking for out of it as well. So to do that, we would need all of the east side cities. So it's really just a conversation with myself and my peers in Bellevue, Kirkland, Mercer Island, et cetera.
Thing.
Yeah, to add it to our work plan to make sure that our city councils ultimately support this work. And then there's some uncertainty just in the world in general. So, we don't know till we know, right?
Out of that.
So
Thinking about a future sustainable Sammamish newsletter, do you think it would be possible to follow up with any of these people who installed solar panels? Like for future testimonials, was that ever asked or discussed or?
yeah.
Something to consider, they'd be willing to, like Steve did Steve's the heat pump ambassador, right? Lots of testimonials, maybe there are people out there that would love to rave about their solar power system and all the benefits they had.
Yeah.
If we know who they are and if they're willing to talk about
If
it.
they're willing, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely through Olympia Community Solar. I had mentioned we had that kind of feedback from installers and participants. We did get some written testimonials of folks that already gave permission
Mhm.
for us to share their quotes and information, first name, last name, whatever they're comfortable with.
Mhm.
But that's a good suggestion for next year. I can always reach out to them and, see if there's a Sammamish specific resident rather than we were really looking at this report from the east side as a whole and then extrapolating out some data for Sammamish specifically. But there's definitely folks involved in the program who could speak to
Okay,
their
great.
experience.
It could be really super interesting, having the experience of maybe a year or, a longer time period where you say, wow, my energy bill went down or however, or I sold this much energy back, or this is.
Or I had power when none of you did when that storm, right?
Yeah, we've all got that in the back of our minds.
That's right.
So Rose, looks to me that our limitation is the bottleneck is the solar installation partner. So are there any other partners that you can team with?
Olympia Community Solar is one of the only local groups that runs programs like this. So it's really, I think the other one, I can't remember the name off the top of their head, but when we had reached out to them, they just don't do it to this scale. So they work more with kind of like affordable housing, affordability, kind of more income based versus programs like this that are just available blanket for everyone. So Olympia Community Solar is really one of the only ones in state that we can partner. And the city doesn't have capacity to run a program like this ourselves. We really need to work with that outside partner to connect with the installers, to run the participant enrollments, to evaluate the roofs, to handle the billing, tracking all this sort of stuff. So yes, to answer your question, we really, it would need to be Olympia Community Solar.
Because if we do not have any capacity to install anything this year, if somebody wants today, they're booked.
They're pretty much fully booked. And because enrollment closed on July 4th, they aren't taking more enrollments anyways. You would have had to sign up for the program by or on the July 4th deadline. And
So-
then they're still following up with folks from that who maybe weren't ready right away or wanted to get a second opinion or needed to get their roof cleaned or replaced first. So
Yeah, this is definitely something I would advocate to continue.
it's great. Yeah, definitely looking for that input from you all as well.
That's a great program.
Yeah.
Is there a line item in next year's budget for this?
This actually did not take any city budget.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
This was a program that there was an option to use city budget to offset some of the costs, but based on how things kind of shook out, it ended up being, at least for Sammamish, it was like the lower price for installers, but then it was like added on a teeny bit to break even for the nonprofit. So it was still cheaper for program participants, but it was like a little bit more for Sammamish participants and some of the other participants to just offset that cost for the nonprofit.
Okay, that's good enough.
Yeah.
The other,
Yeah, I recommend continuing for sure. It'd be great.
Do we have a view of whether the other East Side cities are also gonna be doing it?
What we've generally heard is that folks are interested. It's just a little bit early. We kind of want to see what the final numbers are from January and then make sure that we're continuing to be in contact with Olympia Community Solar and get ourselves on the list for next year. Because you can see there are entire counties that are participating in this. So it was really cool for the East Side cities to be able to partner. And then Kenmore was able to get in there too. So yeah.
So is there anything the cities can support the Olympia, community to grow, scale up?
At this time, I'm not aware of ways that we can directly support them. We do work with a lot of nonprofits that are local in Sammamish through our Human Services Department, but they're ultimately based in Olympia and they have their own kind of system. So really, in this case, we were just partnering with them and they have other programs that they run throughout the year.
Sometimes the non-profit has budget limits, how many people they can hire or what they can do with budgets and things like that. So if there is anything that those cities, we can help, to support them, to scale up or grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with our participation this year, that in and of itself does help them.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, that's my last slide for this one. Let me stop sharing real quick. Oh, what happened there? Great. And then back to the agenda. The next thing we are talking about is switch your trips. So thinking about the outreach metrics and kind of the ways that our community engages with our programs and kind of learns about city initiatives. We are participating in this campaign called Switch Your Trips Washington. I sent out a brief blurb about this to all of you with the agenda for this month. But essentially what this is a month-long campaign. It's statewide and entities can opt in. Technically anyone can participate, but they really try to break it out by jurisdiction. So Sammamish is participating. It's during the month of October. You sign up online and you enter trips. So every time that you are replacing a drive alone trip with public transportation, carpooling, a more sustainable option, you're able to get credit for that. And if you log at least 10 trips, you're automatically entered to win a whole bunch of great prizes. So it's a relatively low effort way for folks to get out of their cars, carpool with friends and family, practice taking the bus they may not be familiar with, use the new light rail, and actually win some really great prizes. So this really ties in with our sustainable transportation goals specifically, aligns pretty well with the start of school and the expansion of the light rail. So we're hoping you all will participate, sign up, tell your friends, tell your family, but we're also hoping to do some outreach around this. So currently, October is a relatively slow month events-wise. The farmers market ends in September. There's a Halloween event in October. But I would love to hear from you all, maybe do some brainstorming if we wanted to do some more HOA presentations, if we wanted to partner with sustainability ambassadors on this. We would love to highlight a couple of you who may participate on our social media channels, if you'd be willing, and really just, looking to get more participation from the community. We did this last year as well, and there was some participation, but it was a little bit early in kind of my outreach experience, and we would really like to scale it up this year. So
Question, if we use the sustainability ambassadors, is there an age eligibility for this? Do you have to be 18 or older, or can you be a student and participate in this?
Yeah, technically you do need to be 18 or older to sign up, but what we've seen is students partnering with their parents, and so their parent is logging sustainable trips or carpooling, and then their parent can win the prize kind of for the family, if you will, logging those trips. So that's just because it's statewide, there's like certain eligibility legal limits, but in terms of, telling older siblings, telling parents, encouraging folks to make those decisions.
Can you go through a little bit about, when you talk about the social media posts, is that like, let's say Brooke and I get the Metroflex, us taking a photo, or is it something the city is organizing, or what is that?
Yeah, it could be either one. We have somewhat limited capacity to kind of put like a script or like a video series together. So that's why I'm kind of looking to you all, like what you would be willing to kind of take on, stand up for, whether that's, you're riding the bus and you're taking a video and then sending it to us,
Or
or
send it to you?
So we would make the content, we produce the content.
yes, and we can definitely support, like if you want to do a video at City Hall, we can have our social media manager come and like take a video of you and then obviously post it on our social channels. But the same way kind of with the HOA presentations, we'd love for you all to kind of take some ownership of this and whatever ideas or, creative kind of fun that we can make this a little bit more engaging and like appealing to the community rather than just posting FYI, there's this thing going on Facebook. Make it a little bit more engaging.
Well, I have heard that those sustainability commissioners are getting so many views. I mean,
Ambassadors.
ambassadors,
Yeah.
not us. Ambassadors, because they know how to do it.
Yeah.
Are they allowed to, can we work with them, or are they old enough to be posted on our social media, on the city social media?
I think if we get permission, we definitely
From the
can.
parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And through sustainability ambassadors, they are obviously already putting kind of their name and faces out there. So we just have to, because we're contracting with sustainability ambassadors, we would either need to get the paperwork and approval from sustainability ambassadors that's already been received, or just do a fresh kind of release form. But yeah, it shouldn't be a problem if they're willing and their parents are okay with it. And if they're already involved in sustainability ambassadors, they're gonna be okay with.
So it would be one of us coordinating with them and telling you, so you give us the permission slips, or?
No, we would coordinate with them because we're working with them directly,
Okay.
but it would be like, hey, we have an idea to do an XYZ video with sustainability ambassadors. And then I could reach out to them and say, hey, how many
Wanna
kiddos do you
do
have
it?
available on this day? Here's kind of the general idea.
Okay, well, I would like to give them the chance to actually write the script. And can we do that? Let them, like, partner with them, and let's let them, like.
Lots of
they-
projects in the works. Who's the guy who runs it all? Peter?
Peter, yeah.
Donaldson.
Yeah.
That bus bingo, I mean, we could do a joint video with you guys, a little video of you on the bus and then stamping your bus bingo and saying, I got bingo, I'm gonna go enter this now on.
Well, I was thinking, what about having them, I mean, talking to them about this, but like maybe since so many kids, high schoolers are taking Metroflex and stuff, having them interview them, like, hey, so why do you take Metroflex? Da, 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 you know what I mean? Going around interviewing community members,
It's a great idea.
and but giving them a little bit more like, partnership, but, so that's why I'm asking you, how does that look when you're saying us do it, but if it's with them? Sounds like it's more coordination with you.
Yeah, and I think that's just one suggestion,
Okay.
also recognizing that there is that age limit,
Yeah.
so. The sustainability ambassadors are already doing youth Orca card registration, they're doing a carbon commute count at their schools, kind of understanding how students are getting to school. They're promoting Metroflex community vans, so they're already doing a fair amount of transportation related
Okay.
projects. So what the group we're really trying to target here is folks like yourselves who are going to and from the office, who, maybe have never taken the light rail, and some of these prizes, $1,500 grand prize. There's also a free e-bike as a prize that could potentially be won. So we're trying to figure out how to get
Okay.
folks excited. Like
Let's talk about the light rail. That's not gonna work for next month, but I saw an article recently. A bunch of people were up at midnight cheering the train coming across Lake Washington. They're testing it now, but does anybody know? I thought it'd be another 6 months before April. Okay.
Yeah, April
It's a while. All right.
the 6th or something.
Someday we go from Redmond to Seattle.
But it's okay.
Redmond to Bellevue, it just goes back and forth. Yeah, but not into Seattle yet.
The work at Microsoft can take it from here, well, drive down, right?
Yeah.
The
You'd be
other-
able to take it to Amazon next spring.
Well,
Yeah,
no, wait.
that's awesome.
The other thing to note about switch your trips is the trips do not necessarily have to start or end in Sammamish. you would just put yourself as a Sammamish resident, and if you're taking the light rail from Redmond to Bellevue or the bus across from Bellevue to Seattle, you can log trips from anywhere in the state. So it doesn't have to be using transportation in Sammamish. Obviously, that is what we would prefer and is more helpful for our citywide transportation goals, but ultimately this is a regional program that anyone can participate in. Even, I mean, bringing it to your places of work and like dropping a flyer off. It doesn't have to be a really long involved video series. I think that would be a really fun idea. I think it'd be great to get, commissioners.
No, I see this as a challenge. Like, I actually want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to do this. Like, Parkinson's cool. Yeah, no, I think it'll get me on light rail. I haven't been on it yet.
New videos. Here's Christy on the bus
I've never
today.
drove.
Yeah.
I think we should do it. This is fun.
So another way I was thinking to reach out is, did you think about the PTSA newsletter?
PTSA newsletter.
Because when I was at PTSA, because I used to get all the flyers, the community flyers, and we used to include it in our newsletter.
But that could be something targeting the parents,
Yes, yes.
I know sustainability ambassadors do reach out, sorry, they do have a couple PTA channels that students have parents in, or they have direct links because they're on ASB. And so that's often how they'll communicate with some of their wider networks. So that could be a good opportunity for me to reach out to sustainability ambassadors and
So
say,
it gets to lots of parents, almost all the parents actually.
was there a specific PTSA newsletter that you would recommend? Because I know there's a number of different.
Or like say for high school here, like East Lake High School, PTSA, they have a newsletter.
Yeah.
So, and then other schools you can see here. Because I was a PTSA president for the Tesla, now the STEM. So we used to get all the, flyers from Sammamish, we used to get flyer from other organizations to let people know what is happening
Yeah.
in the community.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
But how do we go about that? I mean, do we have to
We just need to-
buy you a list of, or how do we do?
If you have any PTSA mailing groups, that'd be great. But I know that sustainability ambassadors, and then we do have some lists that we're working to build it out. So I will reach out to the folks that I can through sustainability
Yeah.
ambassadors and elsewhere. Because I presented to the Lake Washington PTSA at the beginning of this year. So
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are a couple groups that we have.
Yes.
Oh, you already have done it?
You did?
Not on
Already?
this, but at the beginning of this year I did, yeah.
No, that's the great forum.
Sorry, the beginning of the calendar year.
Okay, I was gonna say, this just happened.
Yeah. This was back in, I think,
Okay.
February or March. They actually have, the Lake Washington School District has a sustainability committee.
I like that.
So that was the group that I had reached out to, and
Wish we had.
yeah, but again, like mailing and emailing can only get you so far with some of this, people are just gonna.
Yeah, you have to reach out because each of these media has a certain limits that you can hit. So if you have more channel is better.
Yeah,
It has like maybe another 10% of audience or things like that.
more is more for sure.
How do they log the trips?
Yeah, so
You use that QR code?
yeah, you scan this QR code. You can also go to Switch Your Trips Washington, and there's a link there where you can sign up. Again, you do have to be 18 to have your own account. So, recommend your parents sign up. You can travel with them, be part of their carpool. But yeah, it's really easy. And there's, for different residents, like Bellevue has their own ride sharing tracking platform. So statewide, it's Switch Your Trips Washington. For Bellevue residents specifically, they have this platform called Choose Your Way Bellevue. And so they'll be getting their data specifically from that platform versus we will get a program report at the end from Switch Your Trips Washington for everyone who put their city as Sammamish.
Or do people just take a picture and then put it in for a certain day?
Yeah, so on the platform, you can actually log your starting point, your ending point, your form of transportation. You can log repeat trips. What was there a second part of your question?
No.
Okay.
He's asking, do you take a photo of it?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Yes. There's actually some bonuses. So if you take a picture and you post it on social media, you can be eligible for additional prizes. If you send in a little testimonial, you're eligible for other prizes. So you can kind of choose how involved you want to be and how personal you want to make it. For some folks, they're just going to log their trips. For some folks, they're going to send in photos and videos and do the hashtag and everything for additional entries. Yeah.
Yeah, according to the FAQ, there's no like documented proof that you've done the thing.
Yeah.
That's what you were getting at.
Yes.
You just go in and.
It's as much awareness as it is about people actually doing the transit, because obviously, yeah, like they're not requiring like evidence that you're doing this, but if people are taking the time to, if people were hypothetically to take the time to fake it, that's still more people being aware of these resources in this sort of program. So it's still good outreach.
Very well said, Swan.
24 hours riding the bus, he won the grand prize. Going in circles. You just go, I'm riding the bus.
Hey, Steve, I know we've got you online. You've been a little quiet today. Did you have anything to add for Switch Your Trips or for solar?
Oh, yeah, I think I could use this program, walking the dog over to the QFC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it says walking is good.
It's
If
in
you're
walking,
if
it
you're
looks
typically
like,
taking a car,
yeah,
and then instead
walking.
of taking
Yeah, carpool, van pool, bus,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
ferry, what is a foot ferry?
Where you walk onto the ferry?
Huh? Okay, yeah, you're pedestrian, right?
As opposed to, yeah.
Bicycle, walking, rolling, skateboarding, skateboarding.
yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I don't think that's a good idea for me to do that.
probably not.
Oh. Any other questions about this? I encourage you all to sign up. I will be participating. I'm excited. Okay. And then we will be tabling at the farmer's market on the 17th and doing a little bit of kind of pre-outreach on that, reminding folks, giving them that heads up to sign up.
I'm gonna change, if it's okay, can I come at 3 to 4? Come 3 to 4 PM that day? I saw the times changed.
Totally fine. Yeah.
It
And
starts at 3.
I said 6, but I can't do that anymore, so I'm hoping, okay.
yeah, for the for the September farmers markets,
Mhm.
because it gets dark earlier, the time is 3 to 7 instead of 4 to 8. And as always, any time that you can come and spend with us, we appreciate. I'll be there the whole time. So.
I will be there. I'll be a little jet lagged, but I'll be there.
Thanks, Steve. We appreciate you. Okay, let me pull up the agenda one more time. Okay, so we've got a couple things to report out on that we're very excited about. Again, I hope you all enjoyed August as your month off. It was great to see a lot of you at our August outreach events. We had the Sustainable Sammamish Farmers Market on August 6th, which was a screaming success. Swan, do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Let me pull up, I sent you the numbers that I got.
We had multiple booths there. Oh, I should have brought, while you're sharing out, I'm gonna run and grab one of the scavenger hunts that we did, because we had a scavenger hunt for folks to visit each of our different themed booths, and it was really great. So while Swan is sharing.
Half my emails are missing, so I'm just gonna pull it up from my notes.
I probably also have.
That's fun. I didn't get to go to that one.
Yeah, I know, for folks who
That's
weren't
fine.
able, I just really wanted.
Yeah, that's.
He built the new sustainability wheel.
I
It was
see
great.
that.
A
Great.
lot of people did enjoy the wheel. Rough counts, we had the scavenger hunt that we were giving out, which was a huge success. Normally with like a scavenger hunt sort of thing, even with kids, like you get maybe like a third to half of them back. We gave out around, by my count, 79, and we got 57 back.
Oh, cool.
So almost all of the scavenger hunts we got back, which is crazy. And it was definitely mostly younger people, but a decent number of like older teens were like still grabbing the scavenger hunt, going around checking out all the different booths, which was very cool to see.
What was the prize?
The prize, we had some buttons. When we ran out of buttons, we had just like this box of goodies that Rose grabbed from some other outreach table. Someone else. So we had more things to give out. There's like sticky hands and the like.
That's fun.
Not as good as the buttons, and people enjoyed the buttons.
What are the buttons?
It was stuff for like
Electrify
Sammamish, and there was a second one we had on it was electrify, and then it was something. It was something about like going carbon neutral or whatever. I don't remember exactly, but
That's cool.
they were enjoyed. And by the clicker count, we had around 235 people stop by the booth.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's
So-
awesome.
It was very cool.
Wow,
Yeah.
great turnout.
We had reports from one of our other booths there that they spoke to 260 people. So I think, yeah, screaming.
A lot of people were there, and a lot of people were there in that like section of the farmers market checking out the booths.
That's very cool.
People were also very enthusiastic about the trees, like because we had like the little like grow your own tree kits. A decent number of people were like, "Yo, we already got one at Earth Day," which is great. Some of those people took another one to have, which I'm like, "Cool, we have trees." There is no downside to this. But people like kids were excited about them. Some of the like teens were excited about them. Some adults were excited about them.
That's cool.
So hopefully there will be a lot of those like making their way.
I couldn't help but wonder where these little kids are gonna plant these ponderosa pines in their yards, right? Those are huge trees. What happens in 40 years?
It's convenient that the Sustainable Sammamish Guide includes instructions for how to move a tree.
Oh, okay.
For like the small trees, because like they start growing them in the little pot,
Yeah.
and then it has like a little guide for like how to actually plant them somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't say where, but it says how.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Maybe we need to warn the parents when we.
A decent number of people did ask what kind of tree it was, and it does say in the little like info thing inside, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
if they take the time to look it up, they'll know how big those trees can grow.
That's right.
And it takes a while for them to grow anyway, so won't be an issue for a bit.
Were you trying to say something over there?
No.
Okay. Thought I saw you. Yeah, so you can see, thank you, Swan, for that report out. And you can see on these cute little scavenger hunts, all of the booths that we had there. So we had pretty much 2 booths for everything except for waste and natural resources. And it was really great to just build those relationships with those folks, get them kind of on the docket for next year for some of our farmers markets. We handed out about 40 youth orca cards at the King County Metro booth. And yeah, I think everyone just had a really good time.
That's why people did it. They wanted those stamps. Those are cute. Did you give those out to everybody?
Each booth I gave a little stamp thing. Yeah.
Nice.
I have to ask you where you got those.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Anything else to note from that market? I think of all the conversations, a lot of them had to do with transportation in the city. There were a lot of folks interested in water conservation. There was a giant like stand-up booth that folks could write on with chalk, talking about how to conserve water and why water is important. And yeah, I think there were just overall a good a good event, and our booth was super popular. The wheel was a hit. Steve, thank you. For folks who did go, I was wondering if there were any kind of lessons learned or feedback for next year, since this is kind of our first opportunity to debrief since that market.
Who was all there?
Well,
Swan was
I can,
right? Oh, yeah.
I can add that, and when you asked me to step into the adjoining East Side, Energy Smart East Side booth, there was a lot of people came by with interesting questions on heat pumps. So I was really encouraged by the interest that that session at the farmers market generated.
Great, Steve. Thank you. Speaking of heat pumps, Steve, I want to give a moment to shout out your work with our local paper, the Sammamish Independent. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the experience of kind of putting together that op-ed? Did you all get a chance to read it or see it? Okay, I'll send it out after as a link.
It took a few months. I will say that the student staff on the Sammamish Independent is thorough. They reviewed my initial entry, and there's an old saying in Boeing is first author never has a chance. That so they did a decent edit job on it, and then it had to go through some sort of a board after that to get improved. But it was quite an experience, and I would recommend it if any of you all have got a topic that you think might be worthy of getting before the public. This is a good way to do it. My understanding is that that little virtual newsletter has about 1,500 individual people that places that it gets sent to. So it's a fair amount of exposure.
So I'll send out the link afterwards, but the Sammamish Independent has an online website and they have a whole section for op-eds, and Steve had reached out to me just asking if that was okay and what that might look like, and it was really great. We sent it to council and got some really positive feedback, Steve, so thanks for taking the initiative on
Oh,
that.
okay.
As
By the way,
as a heat pump owner yourself, it's great to hear
Yeah.
from you.
I did write it as a Sammamish resident, not as a commissioner.
Yeah, and that was appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the right way to go about it. You're still a commissioner, but you're writing it as a resident from your own perspective, talking about your
Yep.
heat pump and encouraging folks to do that. So, yeah.
Cool, good job.
Good job.
I'm gonna look for it.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, and then the next thing we can talk about is maybe the HOA presentation. Christy and Brooke, do you want to share out about that? I can give a little bit of background, or you can just take it away if you want.
If you want to say anything in the beginning, I mean, I can just say that I felt it was a little bit of a missed opportunity that we hadn't had any direct conversations with HOAs so far, from what I know. And I thought, okay, let's do a little research and see what the biggest ones are, and start the biggest one. And that happened to be, lucky, Christy and I, we are residents of Klahani, and Klahani is the largest one from the research that I did and could find, with about 3,200 households. And it has planned amenities, etc. Some of us know it. It took me about 3 tries to get a yes. But we thought every HOA usually has, of course, a board meeting, and some of them have separate committee meetings. But we thought the one with the most traffic would be the board meeting. And so we got the yes, and Christy and I went and we presented to the Klahani HOA beginning of August, I think first week of August. And I have to say that our experience was a little bit unusual, because there was a sort of a heated debate about some things that had been going on there regarding the pool. And so there were a lot of residents that stood up and had a lot of things to say, coming and going in the middle of the meeting, but that was good for us because it was probably a lot more interest. Yeah, and I think it was a successful presentation. So what we presented on, and maybe Rose can fill it in a little bit, was we talked a little bit about, okay, so here we're the Sustainability Commission of the City of Sammamish. We have 7 members. This is the climate action plan. This is what the city is doing, and here's what you can do as a resident, talking about greenhouse gas emissions and climate change, and here's what you can do as a resident. And we did talk about heat pumps. We had a heat pump video, which we tried to show, but it was probably a little too long, so we didn't show the whole thing. And we talked about some events that were coming up. I don't know what else. And we did get some questions.
Well, at the end, the end question to them was, how can we partner with you, or what would you be willing to have us at your what's the event they have, Klahani Days? And they seemed very interested. They were like, yes. And a couple people wanted to stay after. And they asked, now that farmers markets are almost over, how are we going to hear about these things? So we had asked them to put stuff in the newsletter, but I don't know if they did.
Yeah,
but-
we followed up, but we haven't seen that. So yeah, I mean, so based on the questions that we got afterwards, some of them had somebody said to me, I've never heard of a heat pump. And somebody said, I just replaced my HVAC but I didn't know about this heat pump thing. So that was already cool.
You
So
guys were
we're-
there in person
We
presenting.
went
Okay.
in person.
I presented mine virtually last year and I provided the climate action plan, the urban forest management plan. Didn't get a single question, but it was virtual. And I think
Yeah, I think
being in
pers-
person is a big difference to these types of discussions, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so, I mean, I think that what it might take is just going more often, not just a one-time presentation, just going whenever we have some kind of news, just showing up at the meeting. I mean, I'm willing to do it. I'll speak for myself. When we have more news, just next time, just getting a 5-minute slot. And I don't know, you have anything to add?
No, I just think one other way to reach out, now that we kind of introduced ourselves, I think like after our transportation focus and the recent farmers market that we did, like there were so many questions about the buses and the routes. So in Klahani Families, I posted like, this is a great resource, and it was the transportation on our website, on the Sammamish website. And I think that could be a place where we keep sending the community, information of what the city's doing. And that, I wonder if all of them have that, you know what I mean? Like we're on the Kalahani
A
families.
Facebook group.
Yeah, Facebook, find the Facebook groups for these HOAs to like just promote the city things,
Mhm.
is a way to just keep in contact. I feel like that hits more of the families anyway.
Mhm.
So like posting, like I would like post whatever this thing's called we're doing on that.
Switch your trips.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I thought it was
Could be another
great.
way.
I loved it.
Did you get any
Yeah.
negative feedback?
No, they were so wonderful. I
That's
think
good.
it's so positive to
We changed the tone of the meeting.
That's good.
We're like,
And Rose was in there. She was listening.
Yeah.
We thought it was a little too much to ask for her to go travel so far and go to the meeting, but she was on the whole time on the virtual meeting.
people seemed genuinely interested, and it was like, wow, they hadn't heard some of this. So
Some people have strong opinions about the cost of sustainability.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to continue on with that, I thought, okay, one's probably not enough. And then I've been trying to contact Sahali. And I did a little misstep there because I contacted a Sahali HOA in Alaska.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to hear about solar. You get a free trip to Alaska. So, okay.
Go.
So then I found our Sahali and they're gonna have their meeting next week and they're gonna tell us whether we get a spot in their agenda. Yeah, they're gonna decide next week if we get a spot.
okay.
And then they'll tell us after that meeting next
Okay,
week. If we get a spot on I guess it will be
Future.
October. I guess it
Okay.
would be the October meeting. And then today I also even reached out to Summer Ridge, which by my research is also a big one. To see if we could possibly get on their agenda. Just, I mean, at least to create an initial awareness that there is a sustainability commission and the city does have a climate action plan. Yeah.
Troshek is also a big, Troshek.
Yeah,
Trossachs.
Trossachs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a next one.
Yeah. I know Aldera, I live in there, but their meeting, the homeowners HOA meeting just happened a couple of weeks ago. But I can post it and do anything in our Facebook.
Okay. There's a Facebook group for
Yes.
Trossachs.
No, for Aldera. I'm in the Aldera, but Troshek is the next, neighbor.
Okay.
Oh.
Nizan, do you follow the city of Sammamish on Facebook as well?
Not much. I'm not on Facebook that much, but I can follow if you want.
Totally fair. Yeah, if you ever want content or information, obviously our meeting agendas have a lot, but also our social media channels, you can always copy paste or reshare the information that we're already putting out there. We get at least 2 sustainability posts a month and we try to kind of keep them themed. And try to keep putting out fresh information while kind of, reiterating some of the big things like energy, smart east side, and transportation. So if you have specific things that you'd like to share with your HOA, please let me know. If, there's certain topics or items that you think would be more relevant for them, or if you want to just copy paste the content that we're already putting out that we've pre-drafted and provided links and images for, you can always do that as well.
Yeah, no, I think our community will be interested in the sustainability. I do post different things from
Yeah.
myself in that group related to sustainability and all these things. So, but I can definitely do that. And I have another social group within the city of Sammamish that I have 300 families, 302 plus families. So I can post there too.
Great, yeah, for Switch Your Trips, for Energy Smart
Yes.
Eastside, that's great. So, thanks to this first HOA presentation, we now have a really great polished slide deck that Christy and Brooke helped me with. We had a work session at City Hall to kind of get the important information in there, talk about what the commission is, what the climate action plan is, where we're at in terms of our greenhouse gas emissions, and then some call to action. So I think what you guys were focusing on was weatherization, heat pumps, and just here's where you can go for more information in general is the sustainability page on the city website, and the sustainability guide that was mailed out. So super excited for that to continue. If anyone else is feeling interested in presenting to their own HOA or knows of different community groups that, you know, you would feel comfortable going and presenting at, I can always show up with you to support or just help behind the scenes with the content generation, and practicing.
How about the church group, different faith-based organizations and church groups?
Yeah, of course. Any community group we would love to work with. Yeah, this information is for all Sammamish residents. Okay. Would anyone like to see that presentation real quick? I don't have a video of it, but since we've got a little bit of time to spare. I'm having trouble with the full screen, so let's see if this will work. Please.
Are you sharing your screen or just?
I
that?
am. I was sharing my screen and now it
Hmm.
yeah, that's okay. Try one more time. Here. Usually my computer is not the main one and this one, so it makes it a little bit weird. Okay, one last try. There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay. Great.
Oh, that picture's in Kalani. That's Yellow Lake. Right?
No, that's Evans Creek Preserve. isn't it?
Oh,
I don't think that's yellow.
oh, okay.
No, it's not. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, okay, perfect. Great. So just a quick background on who the Sustainability Commission is, what the goals are. Some very brief refresher on the impact of climate change.
Top of mind for people.
Yep. Talking about the climate action plan because we learned from all of you at the very beginning of creating the Sustainability Commission that a lot of folks don't know that we have this planning document and this guiding document. And they also are not familiar with our very ambitious greenhouse gas emissions goals. Those are the ones that we're focusing on the most. Snapshot of where we are now. This is where we're trying to kind of influence with the outreach to the to the HOAs with this presentation. Where we're going, what legislation is helping us get there, and where the gap still is, where you can see on the far right. I know you all are familiar with this already, so I'm moving a little bit quickly. Really quick explainer on what heat pumps are, what they can offer you, a little video explaining how the mechanics actually work for folks that are interested and when we have enough time. Talking about Energy Smart Eastside, providing those resources and the very clear dollar incentive for folks. And then, of course, energy efficiency as kind of a lower cost option for folks who maybe have already made the switch to heat pumps or are not in a place where they can do that right now. And really focusing on weatherization, because no matter how you heat your home, weatherizing your home can reduce your energy consumption. And then just hammering home, what's in it for you if you choose to make these lifestyle choices. And then that very clear call to action. So this would be emailed out to folks after the fact or ahead of time, depending on how the HOA operates. So this is something, we can definitely tweak, focus a little bit more on transportation, focus on water conservation, depending on what you're wanting to share. But this is, I think, a really great framework and baseline for some of the most important and most impactful tidbits of information and programs to share with folks. So just so you all feel comfortable, we've got this content ready to go. So it's really just finding spaces where you feel like you can be that trusted messenger, and really reach out to your fellow community members, because the city is doing what we can. It's one thing to have a city staff member talk at an HOA meeting, but it's something completely different to be talking to your own friends and neighbors, or the neighboring HOA that's down the street.
Mhm. Yeah, and this is a good length of a presentation because you can get through it in 10 minutes and then have 5 minutes for questions, and it fits into an HOA agenda easily.
Or community group.
Any other
Yeah,
agenda?
I think that's
Any other one?
great presentation. I was thinking that, is it possible to have a one pager just to draw people's, this presentation will be in the back end, but one pager, if people don't want to go through the presentation, if we can express ourselves in one page.
That you would hand out to them or?
Most of the people don't have that much of.
We have that. Didn't we develop that for the market, the farmer's market? We had a one page that you put together.
We have a one pager on the climate action plan
But
specifically.
not the whole program. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is good, this presentation, it's the people are more interested, they can definitely go, but most of the people online nowadays, they don't have 5 minutes of session. They'll say something in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, so if we can give them that option.
Yeah, are you envisioning like a PDF?
Yes, just a PDF or a JPEG or anything that we can share easily online, like in Facebook or other, social group or WhatsApp groups and things like that.
Okay.
And then we can give them the link of the detailed presentation if they want to see more.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you're able to give us some sort of thing, rather than us wait for the city with all your time. With all your free time you have. Are you saying like create some sort of thing that then we can post?
Yes. All of us, I know that we have social groups and things like that. We are, participant in that. As long as if we do 6, 7 of us, if we share within our different groups, we are connected, that will be a lot.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear from you all. I know that different platforms have different kind of compatibility, right? Posting a one pager with small text as like an image to Facebook probably isn't as conducive as emailing it out as a PDF attachment. So maybe a couple different formats with varying degrees of information. And then the follow-up is, if we only have one page, what would be?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Put on it.
Yeah, like because theoretically you could do a one pager for all the things transportation, you could do a one pager for all the things clean energy, but you're wanting a one pager for everything.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, like, do we want to say, here's the climate action plan, here's a link, because that's essentially what this is, but it is 12 pages.
That's what I'm saying, that
So-
one PDF or any JPEG, we can do that, and then just to draw their interest into that, and then we can give the, clickable link.
So I'd like to know from the commission what you'd like to see specifically on that one pager, just to have a little bit more, really narrowing it down, because there's a lot I could work with.
Didn't we come up with like 3 focus ideas at the beginning of the year, or was it the end of last year?
We did.
Feels like that would be the way to fill up a page with this stuff on I can't remember what they were, so maybe we're not focusing on them, but.
I mean, it's the buildings and energy and transportation, and then I think you all had picked natural resources as the follow-up. But even within those categories, there's a lot that we could.
Yeah,
focus on.
it's very difficult to do in one page, but just to draw people attention, if we can somehow put a digest version,
Yeah.
A quick question, is this easily accessible on the like city website in digital form?
Yes, I have not posted it on the city website yet because we just got these actually today. And what I go through is once I have the final proof, the version from last year that's available online has a ton of hyperlinks. And I have to go in and manually add all of those hyperlinks to the PDF, and I just have not had a chance yet. So we're aiming for October for that to be published on the city website as something where you can have, a QR code, just like the one behind you there. So it absolutely will be, it's not there yet.
I thought then for the one pager would basically be just taking the headers from this and maybe like a little tagline for each of those. But that would fit on one page in most formats. And that way you can link to this as the more information, and then then they can go from this to more detail for anything that they're more interested in. Basically, it's like
Yeah.
hook them with the one pager, give them a little bit more information, because we don't want to link them like directly to the climate action plan, because that's a very big document. We want them to look at it, but if we go directly to that, that's too much to look at. But they're like, oh, Sammamish sustainability, these different like goals. Oh, like what's this about like water or whatever? And then they can go look at this pamphlet in more detail, and then they can go from there to whatever goals they have.
I mean, is it basically like this on the back? I mean, it's these categories, no? I mean, building and energy, transportation, natural resources, water and waste, does that cover it, or or do we want to talk about?
I would say these are more like supplemental resources. So ultimately, we probably would be linking them to this guide altogether, or to the specific pages on the city website that focus on getting around for transportation. But I really like the suggestion of kind of taking the Sustainable Sammamish Guide and taking the top couple of points from here and truncating that into one. I also wonder, would it be helpful to have a call to action, or would it be worth having something a little bit more interactive versus some words with a QR code or links, like having a specific diagram, or like including a photo of all of you on there? Some of those ideas, like I'm wondering what we're feeling in terms of the one pager, because there's a lot of ways I could take it, and I'm happy to just go at it and then get your feedback at one of our upcoming meetings. But if you do have some initial recommendations, I definitely want to keep those in mind as I'm putting this together. Because my version of a one pager might look very different from your version
No,
of a one
definitely.
pager.
Swan, what do you think? You guys, you're the younger folks, what do you think is a better communication?
Like in terms of format or platform?
In terms of, what the content
Um,
or format and platform, anything that you guys feel. I have the same question to Brian as well.
yeah. That I'm not entirely sure, because one of the things I'm not actually that connected with most of the people my age in Sammamish. Most of my friends are in Redmond or Bellevue, so.
Okay, that's fine. But I didn't want.
What's the key message? So in my mind, a one pager is, why did the city form a sustainability program? What is it about? How is it organized? And then what can I do?
What individual
And
can,
then where can I find more information?
Yeah.
That's a one pager.
Yeah.
If that's the intended audience, is
Exactly.
I'm educated, well, why is there even this program at the city?
Who we are, why we exist, what you can do.
Yeah.
and how individuals, resident can participate or
Right.
to
Right,
contribute.
the call to action that Rose mentioned.
Call to action.
Because, yeah, I mean, Rose, to go into like targets and metrics and all that great stuff, that's gonna be like way too deep for a
Oh,
one pager.
100%.
Yeah.
And one pager, I mean, do you mean like a Facebook post? Or do you mean a page you're handing out at a
It
presentation?
could be
Like a
Facebook post,
PDF?
it could be WhatsApp post, it could be email, it could be handout.
It could be an op-ed in the Sammamish Independent also.
Yeah, it could.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think I've got some good ideas. I think I've got some good recommendations here. So I'm gonna take a stab at it, and I will show you all my first draft. Probably not in October because I'm out a lot of September. October, November, we're looking at. We also have a packed agenda for October. So I'll follow that up at the very end as a report out with what's upcoming. But I just wanted to also just give a moment, open the floor. Any other feedback from this summer's events? I know we had folks tabling at Earth Day all the way through the farmers market from last week. Big takeaways, recommendations for next year. This is really just kind of our time to debrief a lot of that.
I just want to share, I thought this came out really nice. I thought it came out really good. Much more, I think, interactive and, I don't know, friendly I love this. I thought this came out really good. I was walking down the street and my neighbor who was walking with his 2 little kids was like, was that you and the sustainability guy? And I think I just pictured him seeing this with his kids. You know what I mean? I really loved that. So I don't know, I think it came out really, really easy to read and more personal. I don't know, I like it.
We really appreciated all of your suggestions.
I like all of the graphics. I think they're really good just to glance at. And this is fantastic. This public transportation
Yes.
map.
I'm so glad this was in huge part, you all really giving your suggestions, helping us really take it to that next level this year. So we're really excited for future years, and I'll be bringing this to City Council next week. Next week I am presenting a sustainability program update to the City Council at the September 16th meeting. We're a little bit later on the agenda, so maybe around 7-ish if you wanted to log in. There'll also be a meeting recording after the fact, but that'll just be a new iteration of the program update you all have received before on some of those work plan items, some metrics, some feedback throughout the year, and just making sure that council's updated on the great work that you all and myself are doing.
So speaking of the council, specifically the Parks and Rec Department, and I'm speaking on behalf of Christy, but 7 months till Earth Day, where are we with the bike racks and all the parks in Savannah? We got 7 months till Earth Day, right? Is that just on the back burner? Or is that something Parks and Rec is just punting on, or?
Yeah, so the bicycle and pedestrian plan, I believe, is going to council next month.
Okay.
I need to look at the schedule, but once that is adopted, then the priority projects are going to be started to work on.
Okay.
So I don't know off the top of my head where the bike racks sit on that, but I know that we're really focused on pedestrian safety, some of the intersections and traffic control, which take a little bit higher priority at this time. Yeah, so I don't have.
Well, Steve's pretty handy. Maybe we could help him build some.
That'd be an
Made out of repurposed wood.
I don't know if that'd work for a bike rack. I think I'm gonna have to buy a welder for that.
But one thing you could add for the city council is Jeff Burgard from Pine Lake was featured in the Washington Science Teacher Association magazine, newsletter.
What's the last name?
Burgard, Burgard. He came to your ambassadors thing you had in with
Teachers workshop? Yeah.
Do you remember him? Jeff Burgard. I don't.
Is he the principal?
No, he's a teacher who's been really well known in Issaquah School District. And he's kind of always led sustainability, has worked with Peter for many, many years. But he.
I went to it, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure who he was.
Well, he is really working hard to get his students to be presenting. I think 2 kids per trimester. I think you're going to come to the council and present on what they're doing, their impact projects. So he was featured in the Washington Science Teacher Association newsletter for his work for connecting kids with city council and doing that work for sustainability.
That's super cool. I will look into that. And you said he's gonna have 2 students per meeting at our council.
I think
Cool.
that's what he's thinking he's
Great.
doing. Maybe don't tell them if they don't.
No, I'll double check.
He's trying to coordinate with, they're working with Peter, they're doing an impact projects. I even told him about the mobility plan, because not all of it's climate action. Also, some kids are looking at equity with sidewalks and stuff like that, making sure all. And I think he's having 2 kids per trimester speak to them, present to them.
Cool. I will follow up with him because he had reached out asking how students can get involved with council, and one of the recommendations I made was coming to present.
They're doing it. So yeah, Jeff Burgard at Pine Lake.
Cool. Okay. Great. So I'll be presenting to council next week. Feel free to tune in or watch the meeting recording. At our next meeting in October, we'll be getting an update from our restoration specialist, Sebastian. He has been working all summer on our restoration sites throughout the city, so this is very natural resource focused. Doing some weed control, doing some work with our volunteers in the city. And so he's doing a lot of the on the ground sustainability work while I do some of the implementation, community outreach, policy, regional coordination. So I thought it would be really wonderful to have him all tell you more about the work that he's doing. And then, you know, if you want to start volunteering and getting in the dirt and pulling blackberries, you absolutely can as well. But that, yeah, we're just kind of wrapping up our spring and summer volunteer season, I guess is how I would put it together. There's a lot more that goes into it than just the volunteer work that Sebastian does. So I thought it'd be really great to have him come present to us. I know I've also mentioned a couple times the King County greenhouse gas emissions inventory. That report has not been finalized at the county level yet. I was really hoping to have it for this meeting. Now we're really hoping to have it for October. So those are some of the upcoming items that we'll be covering, and then looking to get a field trip lined up for November or December, the cold season, hopefully somewhere inside.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And that's it for tonight, folks. I think we can end a little bit early unless folks had anything else to add, you know, highlighting any events coming up, work that's been done, articles you read, anything like that. But otherwise we'll see you in October.
Thank you.
And at the 17th next week. This
Yeah.
week?
Yes.
Yeah, next week. Farmers Market next Wednesday from 3 to
Make sure I'm
7.
signed up for that one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you all so much.
I'll send you that newsletter with him in it.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to see that. Oh, and then we do need to call for adjournment. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I moved it, well, I need someone to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, I motion to.
Great, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, meeting is adjourned.